Now I have a Fitbit, and Karen walked into my office this morning, and I said, I slept 8.5 hours this morning. Woo, I was excited. Now, to me, that my Fitbit, this little device right here, unfortunately sleeps on my wrist every night, and the first thing I do every morning is I get up to see how much I slept. Now, about a year ago, it probably would have read 6.5 hours, or it might have read 5.5 hours, or it might have read 4 hours, or 3.5 hours. And there's sometimes that I have to get up, and I have to tell my family, and I have to tell the staff that, look, hey, I only slept about 4 hours last night, so I would advise you to step back. Because when if I'm not really got the rest that I need, if I'm not gotten the rest that I need and throughout that time, I'm liable to forget your name. And your last name is Roland, and that's sad, you know? And I looked at Karen, a woman that I married. Hey, I need you to come to this room, you know? Because when I don't have the rest that I need, that what happens is that things just don't line up. Things don't add up with me personally. And I have found out that not that as I get older, a lot of people say, well, as I get older, I sleep less and less. Well, I found out that as I get older, technology increases and advances. And also cell phones and the things that cell phones can do increase and advance. And what has happened is that if I cannot sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning, or 2:30 in the morning, or 4:30 in the morning, what I have found myself in doing is turning right on over, 6 inches away from my head, reaching over to my phone to see what all happened from 10 or 11 o'clock at night to 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm telling you, as many times as I've done that, there's not a lot that goes on from 10 to 11 or 2 o'clock in the morning. But we tend to do that. We find out, we look at the pictures of what people did last night on Facebook and social media. We look at who posted pictures from last night for the last 3 hours or 4 hours on Instagram. What's going on Snapchat? We find all that information out. And what happens is that our minds start wondering. Our minds start thinking. And what happens is that we lose out in sleep. Carey Nieuwhof said this. I love this podcast. I listen to it every week. But Carey Nieuwhof said this. He's a pastor from Canada. He says this, like money, social media's a great servant, but a horrible master. And I have said over these last 4 weeks that I love social media. I love technology. I'm a tech geek. I love that in the mornings, technology in 2016 lets me know how many hours to the minute that I slept. And if I want to know at 3 o'clock in the morning what my heartbeat does, technology lets me know that too. Technology is phenomenal. I sat at a table yesterday with my 91-year-old grandfather. My aunt, my uncle, my mother, myself and Karen, and my cousin Kelly. And we were sharing yesterday how there are things that we can do, or things that Kelly can do. For example, there was a cute video of her daughter that she did, that she was able to post on Facebook in 2 hours away, a 2-hour drive, but immediately in less than 2 seconds. We were able to see that video and be able to share it to our children. Now, my grandfather doesn't know anything about cell phones. He doesn't even have to own a computer. Can you imagine? But yet, we can send a text of a YouTube video of things that we've done, and they can walk across the street and show him a YouTube video of what we did and edited together and uploaded just a few moments ago. Technology, social media is phenomenal. But yet, like Carey said, like money, social media is a great servant, but a horrible master. And what happens is I found out in my own personal life, and when it came to rest, that in my own personal life, social media was taking over my rest. So for the last 6 months to 8 months, maybe up to a year, I have been a student of the Word and of rest. I drive my team crazy. I drive my family crazy. It's 8 o'clock, kids, you've got to get to bed right now. You know? And then when noise is in the house and they're too loud in the morning, look, mother is sleeping. Shut it down, you know? I'm big about rest. I'm constantly just checking how much time I'm sleeping. And I would encourage you also for yourself to find out how much you're sleeping. Because listen, we as believers need rest. We, as non-believers, need rest. Our bodies were built to rest. Yet social media steals from the workplace. It steals from our rest. It steals from our marriages. It steals from our parenting. It steals from dinner time. What happens is we found out that social media is mastering people's lives. Paul said this to the Corinthians in chapter 6, verse 12. He says this, I have a right to do anything, but I will not be mastered by anything. I will not be mastered by anything. And what I found out in my life about a year ago, that social media was mastering my life. Social media at 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock was mastering my life so much that it was preventing me to lose rest. I've been waiting 5 weeks to teach this message. I can't wait to share some of the things I'm going to share with you today. And in fact, I'm going to share with you in this message about something that's coming up next month that I'm going to share even more. Listen, there are some ways that you might know that you might be addicted to social media. Let me just help you as we're ending this whole series called Struggles. Let me just help you with this. Number one is this, that if you plan your Throwback Thursdays a week in advance, or your TBTs, hashtag TBTs, then maybe you are addicted to social media. Another thing that you may be addicted to social media is that if you have an Instagram page and your cat has an Instagram page, you may be addicted to social media. Listen, you may be addicted to social media if you look forward to going to the bathroom so that you can get to level 7 of your favorite game. You know you may be addicted to social media. If you change your Facebook profile picture more often than a 12-year-old little girl, yeah, you're addicted to social media. If you sleep with your phone like a teddy bear, yeah, you may be addicted to social media. And since we have AMP Kids going on right now, let me just throw this one in. That if you come on to your spouse by saying, hashtag, you in the mood, then you may be addicted too much to social media. This term right here, nomophobia, this term right here means the fear of being away from your phones. Just this week, as I was preparing and I knew I was going to be teaching about this term right here, nomophobia, as well as the term FOMO, F-O-M-O, the fear of missing out. Both of them this week made history, those two terms. Webster's Dictionary brought those terms into the dictionary for the first time, officially into the Webster's Dictionary. This term is used so much by scientists because we all have a fear of being away from our phones. That 60% of people in general have a fear of being away from their phones, and 77% of 18 to 24%, 24 years old, are fear of being away from your phone. In fact, ask your teenager if you can hold their phone. Watch the fear and the dread come across them of being away from their phone. I started thinking about this message. I thought about my own self because you asked me for my phone, but I go, what you want my phone? Because it's just like your laptop. Not everybody can use it. I had one of my sons use my laptop. Jerome, one time when he came into town, my oldest one, used my laptop, messed all my screen stuff up. That's my laptop. It's like going into my house. You don't come in my house and rearrange my furniture. And you don't go on my laptop or my phone and rearrange things either. Yet we all experience nomophobia. I'll tell you a story about what happened to a couple of weeks. A couple of weeks ago, Karen left and she said she was going to go get her hair done. Now, she went to get her hair done, but she left her phone at home. She was going from 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. When she got home, I'll share that in just a second what happened when she got home. But this was me. You can't get in touch with her. How'd she lose her phone? How did she even get out of the neighborhood without checking her phone? I mean, how do you get 2 miles away from the house even and not even know your phone? What is, she doesn't have your phone. Daddy, where's mommy? I don't know. She's not going to have a phone. She don't have her phone. I don't know how she's doing right now. So I hear the garage door open. I open the door. I said, you left your phone. She said, I know. Well, how did you pay your hairdresser? All your cards are right there in your case, and they're all together in your phone. She said, I paid by check. Oh, are you okay? I mean, her being without her phone unnerved me. She was fine. She went out all day without her phone. And it probably was like a vacation, wasn't it? It was like not being contacted, not being texted. I'm not saying, would you please bring on McDonald's for the kids? You know? Because like me, I can't even leave the driveway without my phone. In fact, today I got in the car and I had to send Joshua back up to my room to get my phone because I had left it up there. And I can't even get out of the driveway without knowing where's my phone at. Have it on a safe place in the car, safe place on the desk, safe place on the armchair. I got to know exactly where it is all the time because I experience pneumophobia. So with this, constantly checking things, constantly dictating our life. Like I said in this series of #struggles that we've been doing over the last 5 weeks, I have preached this message to myself first, and I have heard through every one of them because I experience the same issues with every one of our messages. Because I struggle with things like this. Because what I have found out with this, and this is about a year ago I had to find out this, that God has a special rest for us in Christ. That social media is stealing from us. The writer of Hebrews says this, so there is a special rest still waiting for the people of God. For all who have entered into God's rest have rested from their labors, just as God did after creating the world. So let us do our best to enter that rest. Can we stay right here? Can I tell you something right here? I want you to read this because we understand that in Genesis chapter 1, that Genesis chapter 1 tells us that God created this on the first day, this on the second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day. But listen, when he got to the seventh day, I got a secret to tell you this morning. He rested. So why do we feel like we don't have to rest? He says right here, the writer of Hebrews, just as God did after creating the world, so let us do our best to enter that rest. Do our best. Listen, in order to enter a room, it takes action. In order to enter something, it takes something on your part. And believers have just asked God to just bring about a miracle. Bring about a miracle in my life. And God's saying, I'm looking for you to put the phone down. I'm looking for you to charge your phone up and walk away for a few moments. I'm looking for one chance for you to sit your behind down. Because I want to show things to you. I want to reveal things to you. And you are my daughter, and you're my son, and you're not resting. I need you to get rest. I need you to get sleep. I need you to take some time off of this mind so that I can show you things because I am the one who took a rest after creating the universe. And there are things out there that I want to show you. But yet all you care about is seeing stuff on this. If you would just look up, my child, I got things to show you that are out there that are not in here. I've got to show things that are revealed to you that are not on YouTube, not on Snapchat, not on social media, not on Facebook, but there are things that I want to reveal to you that you'll never get off your phone. St. Augustine said this, you have made us for yourselves, O Lord, and our soul is restless until it finds rest in you. Until it finds rest in you. Jesus said, come to me, all you are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. Learn from me. For I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your soul. But I need you to learn from me. I need you to look what I did. Take notes. Write down notes. Find out what I did. What did I do? One of the things we come to is that within Jesus, how do we find rest? And he says, be still. Sit down. Shut your mouth. Sit down and be still. Just like our parents used to tell us. We added a new staff member around here. He works under Pastor Dobb. His name is Dobby. Been hanging out at the office lately. Is he 2 years old? Almost 2? 2. The other day we had a meeting, needed an unusual meeting. We met at a Panera Bread. He was jumping, laying on the floor and all that. Pastor Dobb says, sit down right now. You sit right here and you don't move. And Dobby gets this little face. And everybody in the restaurant goes, you know, it should be mean to him. Because Dobby knows how to let the waters flow. And have that little lip sticking out. And I got on the Dobb, you're too hard on him. I did, that's his job, not my business. I just stay out of the way. Amen. That's right. You stay out of my house, I stay out of yours. But God says, be still and know that I am God. The writer of Psalms says this, but I have stilled and quieted my soul. Not God has stilled. Not social media has stilled. Not my wife, not my kids, not TV, but I have stilled and quieted my soul. It involves action. Like a weaned child with its mother, like a weaned child is my soul within me. You have to get to the place where you can just be still. We thank Jesus and think about the life of Jesus, where we look and we read the scriptures and we see a blind man healed over here, the lame walk over here, and over here from between the lame man, now someone is raised up to life. And we look at these miracles and we look at the life of Jesus and we say, but Jesus went from miracle to miracle to miracle as he went from town to town to town. And that's not the true church. He went from place of rest to place of rest, to being still and being still. And then being still again over here. And every time he would get up early in the morning to seek God, every time he would get alone to pray, every time he would find himself up in the mountains, being alone with God and resting his mind and getting de-stressed from all the people that were pulling at him and touching him and tugging on him, miracles would take place. So you cannot look at the life of Jesus and say he went from miracle to miracle to miracle. No, that is not the truth. He went from place of rest to place of rest and to place of rest. And in between the places of rest, miracles took place. God was able to move. Jesus knew what it was like. Jesus knew how important it was to be still, because when he would be still, he would get a revelation of God. He would get a glimpse of God. He would get a glimpse of the Father. And the Father was able to talk with him and give him direction and encourage his soul that rest did not abide. Yet we go from seasons of checking Facebook to checking Facebook. Or checking the Instagram feed to checking the Instagram feed. Or if you're like me, you do the trilogy. To me, it's Facebook, Instagram, email. And then we go back around to Facebook, Instagram, email. And I unsubscribed to so many emails lately. We'll talk about that in just a second. That I don't get a lot of emails, so I just go back from Facebook to Instagram. Nothing happens over there, but if I update over here, I get 4 more stories on Facebook. We've got to get to a place that we can rest. When is the last time that you had a Selah moment? A pause and think about it moment. I was talking to a family recently that just got back from a spring break trip with their kids. It was the first time they've ever been away without going to family. And they were just so excited about how to get away from no family, no work, no friends, and how it rejuvenated their soul. I'm going to say something that I bet you a lot of pastors don't say, but I want to reveal something that I share a lot with my staff. Because if you're on staff here, you're required to take breaks and take vacation.
Amen.
I want you to take breaks. You need to rest. But I'm going to say this as your pastor to you and your family, you with your kids. You need to take vacations. You need to rest. In fact, I'm going to talk about, let me go ahead and just share this. I'm messing up all the stuff upstairs in the media. But we're going to spend 3 weeks in the latter part of May with a series called Family Vacation. And on Memorial Day weekend, I want to show you even more scriptures of how important it is that you do rest. That you rest. Sunday, May 15th, May 22nd, May 29th. On that 29th, my thing is I'm going to teach you how to rest on family vacation. Because the thing is, we think that God is the only one who is important to that He show us how to rest. That's why I tell you this morning, if it's important that God said for 7 days you need to take 1 day off, then we need to rest for that 1 day. Now, I don't want to go to the extent and what other people do and they become lawful with it, because your rest is not my rest and my rest is not your rest. Some people rest by taking out. I need retail therapy sometime in the form of a Best Buy and 65 inches going just blinking in my face, you know? Other ladies at JCPenney's or Macy's, for guys it's BrandSmart or Best Buy, BrandSmart or Best Buy. But sometimes you just got to get away so you can just rest the mind. Sometimes it's just finding a place. But we need to learn about what the importance is of taking a family vacation. And most people go on vacation, and when they come back, they need another vacation from their vacation. Reason why? Because they're not resting. Can I get an amen from our guys who plan the whole trip? Got 7 kids sometimes. Got to plan meals and mileage and gas and where we're going to eat, sleep, eat, you know. I'm going to teach you how to rest on May 29th even more. Because there's a promise in taking the Sabbath. Oh, there's a blessing in taking a Sabbath every week. And I'm going to reveal some scripture to you that day that is in the scripture that when I show you, I want you to follow me along with that Bible, because I'm going to show you things that God said in His Word that if you take a Sabbath every day, you will be successful in all that you do. God did not intend our mind to go 24/7. And yet, even times when we should just sit down and think, we get on our Facebook. Because what happened, even in my own life, grabbing my phone is default. The other day I was in Publix about to check out. I was like third in line. What did I do? You know what I'm talking about, because you are like that too, most of you. Get a quiet moment of the day. Stuck in traffic. Let me just check right quick. We do that. So, Pastor, what do I do? What can I do? The thing is this. You got to make a plan. You got to be strategic. Solomon, the smartest man and the richest man that ever lived, said this: a wise man thinks ahead, a fool doesn't and even brags about it. A wise man thinks ahead, and a fool doesn't and even brags about it. Paul said this: we will not be mastered by anything. Then if we're mastered by anything, then why aren't we mastered by our phones? That's what I realized about a year ago. 6 months to a year ago, I realized that the phone was stealing something that was precious to me, and that was rest and sleep. I found out also that it's stealing time away from my kids. And I watch what I'm doing whenever I'm eating with them, that I'll only get on my phone if the conversation leads that way. I know it's a long story, but I got some kids, they always want to know something. I don't know, I got to Google it. Yeah, we all kids like that. But I put my phone down and I try not to change it because I don't want my kids raised up knowing the top of my head when I can't even see it, but they know everything on top of my head because all they see me is looking down. So I started getting defensive in my own life, and there's some other things that I want to share with you that I follow, some of these things I don't follow. These are some suggestions. You got to work with it on your own thing. See if these things can help with you. Like I said, I put down the phone during the meals. But I have found that also in my reading, in my daily Bible reading, that sometimes, especially like sometimes when you get the Old Testament and you're getting into the begats, and so-and-so begat this, and so-and-so begat that, so-and-so got this, and this one begat that one. But I found out that even in my own Bible reading, that Facebook and the call of Facebook, let me tell you something, there are things, and I share this a lot, there are things that have voices. There are a couple of things in my life that have voices. Number one is Facebook. Number two, chocolate cake. That thing will scream out to me and say, eat me right now. But you got to be careful of the voices of social media. Another thing is, especially like in our connection group, put your phone down. Many of you are going through Financial Peace University starting this Wednesday. Man, put that thing on silent when you go through. Put the thing on the side so that you can pay attention as you're going through Financial Peace University, that you can pay attention and you can see and get all the things and all the wealth of information that's going to be taught there through Financial Peace University. Make a time that maybe during this such and such time of the day, during my lunchtime or during my break time or during this time or this time, that you're going to take some time that I am not going to check my phone. I'm not going to carry my phone. I'm going to take one. Listen, this is hard. But maybe during lunchtime, I'm going to leave my phone in my desk so that I can go enjoy a lunch with friends without being so compelled to answer my phone or check my phone or just check out. Because sometimes even when I'm with people, I sometimes check out on my phone and I'm not present. Then there are days that my wife has where she leaves the phone at home and I freak out, but yet I am jealous that she has the fortitude to be able to leave her phone for 5, 6 hours and 15 minutes and 14 seconds. That she can do that and not be moved by it. I want to tell you something else, that most of your phones, if you're in 2016, phones are equipped with this. They are equipped with a do not disturb button or a silence button. And I know it's hard in Apple. Look, let me show you something. You just flip up. I'll take a picture. Well, flip up. Oh, no comments about this Apple phone. You flip up and you hit one button. It's a miracle. A Christmas miracle. That it can be that easy. And now if you have an iPhone, they don't carry this in the other ones. That you can program your phone that my screen at 9 o'clock, it switches color to this special. Apple invented this special color of the screen. And so on my phone at 9 o'clock, when my screen goes yellow, not only is it supposed to help me kind of rest my eyes at night, it don't go off till 7 in the morning. But really for me personally, I've made a plan that I need to be asleep or put my phone down at 10 o'clock at night. That is the action plan that works for me. Because my kids get up at 6 o'clock, and if I'm going to achieve 8 hours of sleep, from 10 to 6, I like to get as much sleep as I can, so I do that personally. If you're able to leave your phone with someone, leave your phones out of certain meetings, leave your phones out of certain lunches when you know that maybe there's a deep conversation that's going to take place, or maybe there's something that you need to be present in there. And listen, as we're going to cover about this in the 3 weeks that we're talking about this, especially on Memorial Day weekend, as I teach more about rest and the Sabbath. But listen, maybe you need to also do not take social media with you at all times when you're on vacation. Now that's hard for us. Because we like our phone, we like to capture pictures of our kids, we like to bore you all on Facebook with what we're doing, and who's doing what, and things like that. But, we like to go outside, oh, look at the sun, it's going down, oh, look, And you can get that picture by somebody else's thing, but maybe we need to take a break there. And listen, maybe we need to take this ain't me, this is just a suggestion. But maybe you need to take a week off. Some people take a month off. But when you do, don't go on Facebook and tell everybody that you're about to take a week off. Because we didn't even know you were there. And then you fill up my feet. I'm about to take a week off. What do you want, a parade? You know? And usually they're trying to be really spiritual, but it's like, here's my selfie before I take a break from the week, you know? But instead of taking a selfie, they're going to go online and just realize I'm about to take a month off and things like that. But take some time off. Social media, maybe it's an hour a day. Maybe you got to start increments. I'm going to try 15 minutes today or 30 minutes today. I personally, like I said, the furthest the discipline I've taken is at the dinner table with my kids. At the dinner table when I'm having lunch with people that I don't normally have lunch with or dinner with. If I don't, if I don't eat with them a lot, or spend time with them a lot, and their time is important to me and my time is important to them, that I will purposely put my phone on silent and not allow that to go off so I can do that. Now, if my kids call me or Karen calls me, it will go through. I have a program of that because it's important to me that I get whatever they need, even though 99.9% is nothing. But I don't want anything to happen. I want them to get me that. The second thing is, me personally, at 9 o'clock when my screen changes, it lets me know, hey buddy, you got to time this thing down. And I really, really work hard to make sure that, from 9:30, all I'm doing is seeing the same stuff over and over again. If we be honest. So about 10 o'clock, I'm usually put my phone down. And then I go into other things and do other things that help me go to sleep. But with that, about 10 o'clock, I'm shutting it down. That is if I don't get to bed earlier. All right, very rarely do I not go to sleep after 10 o'clock unless I'm on vacation. And so with that, these are some things that can help you get rest. Because I'm telling you, we are losing our sleep, church. We're losing our rest. And our bodies need two things. Number one, when I talk about rest, it needs two things. Number one, it needs sleep. And number two, it needs to rest by just thinking. And yet, we find out that our downtime is so filled with so much stuff, so much information coming in through social media, through our phone, through podcasts, radio, television, that when's the last time that you just sat down just to think? Just to think. About once a month, on a Friday, I shared this before, 9 months out of the year, the last one just happened last Friday. So I will grieve all the way to August. But about one day a month, on a Friday, Karen has a meeting. The kids are in school. And I get to have time all by myself. And there's some time, and I choose the restaurant I want to go to. I choose the venue. Sometimes I go take in a movie. I buy my own popcorn for myself and my own Coke. There's no other lips to share it with. No other mouths to feed but me. It better be a good movie, though. I go to the little cheap matinee movies. Sometimes I've shared with you, I go get massages at the mall and do that. I go to places, sometimes there's a place in Atlanta that I've been wanting to go to, and I'll go there. There's places, and I come back home. I remember one place I used to go to Photo Child for lunch. Go there for lunch, it's half the price than going there for dinner. Same meal, half the price. And I'll come back and I say, Karen, I had lamb with the lamb today. And I'll just sit there, and those days are so important to me. In fact, Doc makes fun of me. He says, you just love those days. You just get off on those days. I plan them like dates. I'm on dates with myself. I'm planning on what I'm going to wear, and where I'm going to go, where I'm going to eat, and all that. But it's just time for me to get away. And I find myself that the more of that day goes along, the more minutes I am by myself, the more that I start talking. And not to myself. Sometimes I'm praying in the Spirit. Sometimes I'm just talking to God about things I'm going through, or I turn to our church or my family and say, God, just keep blessing my family, keep blessing Living Waters International Church. Just bless the families, bless the kids, bless Out Ministries, bless my kids' education, bless their teachers. I have to put up with them. Bless that school, bless the principal. And I just start praying for everyone and talking to God. God, you've been so good. God, you allow things. And all of a sudden, directions get off myself. It gets off Living Waters. It gets off the kids. It gets off Karen. And all of a sudden, it's just me and him. Then I'm praying, and sometimes I start thinking about situations that we're in, either at personal or in the ministry. I start trying to navigate through theirs, and I say, God, give me wisdom on how to deal with that. And all of a sudden, answers just come pouring in. And there's an open heaven during days like that. And this is how I rest. Like I said, I grieve those days because between now and August, I don't give another day like that. We'll be going through our own family vacation and spending time with family and friends. And it'll be going throughout the summer. I look for days like that because it's really just me and God. I take him out to eat. We talk. I take him to good places too. We just talk about things, but it allows me just to get all the junk out. Get it all on him. He said, cast all your cares upon me. So I just throw it at him. That's what that verse says. Throw me all that stuff to me. So I throw it at him. God, you deal with all that. And then I can't wait that afternoon when my kids get home and Karen returns from a meeting. I'm so renewed and so rested up. And then I'm acting like a little puppy. Where y'all going to go? Y'all going to go out? Y'all going to go out? Let's go do this. And I'm like, Daddy, leave us alone. Chill out, you know. And I've been by myself all day with God. Now I'm just ready to embrace the world again. There's power in rest. Power in sleep. There's power in taking time just to think. God said this in Jeremiah. It says this. I put this on my Facebook page on Friday because this is becoming a hallmark to me in my life right now. It says, this is what the Lord says. Stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient paths. Ask where the good way is and walk in it. Just walk in it. And you will find rest for your soul. Personally, I've been a stickler lately in my family. I've been pretty hard about this. We're going to honor God on Sundays. And it's going to be our Sabbath. Yeah, you're going to still have to take out the trash. Yeah, we're going to still have to prepare dinner. But this is the day we're going to honor God, but we're going to rest. And if resting for you means taking a nap or going outside to play at you, but God said in Isaiah that honor me in the Sabbath and I will make you successful. That is the ancient paths. The old ways that God established. And if He thinks it is important to create creation for 6 days and sit His behind down on one and rest, then we need to also. You are not God. And in history, the only ones who worked for 7 days were slaves. And we're not slaves either, except to Christ. God has called us to rest. So let's evaluate our life. Let's evaluate our social media. Let's watch where we're struggling in. It's an ongoing thing with me about this social media. It's a tension. And sometimes tensions are good because there's good things and there's bad things. And when it comes to social media, there's a tension there. That we need to keep the good and throw out the bad. And when it comes to our rest, let's evaluate our rest and find out where are we struggling at. Because if we're not being effective on our job, and we're not being present with our family, because we're too tired, and we're always sleeping at our desk, and we always need a nap, then is social media stealing our rest from us? Let's find the good ways that God has given us, and let's begin to walk in it. Let's rest for our soul. Let's let our soul rest. Because let me tell you, social media, to me, the things that come through Facebook attaches itself to us. I carry the burdens and pains of people that I don't even know. Yet when I get to God and I find my rest, all of a sudden my soul rests in Him. And I am able to find my rest in Him. So let's stop the hashtag struggles in our life. And let's begin to be disciplined and take an action plan and be still and find that God is still there. He's not left. And He wants to spend time with us. He wants us to rest our bodies. He wants our minds to just be in a mode of think and rest in Him. Find that our rest is in Him. Amen? Father, I thank you.